For this video tutorial, I will be demonstrating how to draft and create a 3D model in the free version of SketchUp. What we're going to be doing here is bringing in an image into our model in space, and then we will scale the image so that we are to scale, and then begin to create our 3D image or our 3D model. So the first thing we have in front of us is our SketchUp screen. Again, this is the free web version. What I'm going to do to start is go over to where we have our scenes here and go ahead and select the scenes, and I want to go to my standard views and put my drawing space into the plan view, which is a top view here. And this is just something that I like to do. And then you will go over to your import. Now with the free version, we're going to use my device. And in the free version, you can only import images, PNG files, JPEG files, and of course, SketchUp files. When you want to import AutoCAD drawings and things of that nature, you will have to upgrade and pay for the Pro version. So once again, go ahead to import, and I'm going to pick for my device and just choose the file that I have saved into my drawing, into my files, and opening up the tab. I'm going to go ahead and insert this as an image because it's an image, not material. I'm just going to zoom in and out. I'm going to pick anywhere here to go ahead and drop this. Right now it's attached to my mouse. And I'm going to pick a size, it doesn't matter how big or small, and just drop it on our screen. Right now our image is in here as one piece, or a component, we would say. If I go ahead and right click, we're going to explode this to separate this from being one unit. That way we have our face there populated, and then of course we have our edges, which makes up our drawing. And we do have a few measurements on our screen here, and I want to scale this drawing so that it is at least created to scale as much as possible when I am creating this 3D model. To do something like that, when you want to scale an image, I'm going to simply come and use my tape measure and pick an area to work in. And I'm going to choose down here where we have our bedroom in the lower left corner, and begin to scale my drawing. And you will see the drawing shrink down to size. Right now, if I just kind of zoom in here and just get as close to that end point here, let's say here, and just begin to draft on my red axes, I see in my measurement box that the length right now says is 4 feet, right? But we need it to be 7 feet, 9.5 inches, or something in that range. So I'm just going to click with the left click and then go ahead and type in that measurement. Let's just say 7 feet 9 inches and press enter. It's asking me, do you want to resize the model? Yes. None of the components in the model were loaded. They're loaded from external files, so they won't be resized, but we're going to say okay. And as you can see, the image has moved. So now if I zoom in and out, let's go and just check that measurement. Again, clicking somewhere where we thought was, close to that corner here. Zoom into it and draft out. If I look in my measurement box there, we have our 7 feet 9 inches, a little over, but that probably means that I'm just not in the exact same spot. But going ahead and now resizing the other end, the next measurement, that 8 feet, I'm going to again pick somewhere close to that edge here. Just try to zoom into the drawing to get in there. And then draft up on my green axes to the other end of that wall. And I'm going to zoom in again and kind of get close to the edge. Right now we see the measurement is 7 feet here. We want to change that measurement at least to 8 feet. Again, do we want to resize the model? Yes. Okay. So once again, we can kind of zoom out and at least try to check it again. Try to get, somewhere where you were, and see that we scale this image properly. And we have that measurement in there. Let me make sure I get in the right spot here. And this is just eyeballing our measurements for us to see, did we land where we need to be? And we're just about that 8 feet. So from here, now what we're going to do is, we have our drawing scaled. Let's go ahead and select our drawing to make it a group. So we want to begin to organize our drawing. So in selecting the base of the model, which is, I'm going to call this our floor level, I'm going to right click and go make this a group, because we're going to basically do a trace over on top as we add other components. So now I have this as a group. I'm going to go ahead and use my orbit tool, or you can go to your scenes and change your view to ISO so that we have a good angle on our drawing. And then I'm going to say, let's double click so that we are working in or on top of our group here. And now we can begin to draft on top of this. In using our line tool, we're just going to either use the pencil or type L for line, and then begin to trace. And the reason why these items are grouped, we want to make sure that when we go to maybe extrude to make our image 3D, it does not attach to the other components and groups, and they will move individually and not together, or change individually and not together. So using this align tool, and we know that, okay, let's make sure we have our group set. We can come out, we can type in L. We can now begin to draft over and just go through and trace. Now for my image, I have a perfect rectangle here. So I'm going to go in my interior walls and go to that far corner here and do a left click, and on the red axis, and just move my pencil in the direction. And I'm just going to type in my measurements. I'm going to say 7 feet 9 inches. And I know that, okay, that is my measurement here. And then on the opposite end, I'm going to now go and come all the way across. Now I can stop at my 8 feet just to make sure that I have my length in there. Let's see here. A little mistake there. There we go, 8 feet. Or I can go ahead and I'm just tracing my space. So I'm going to come to the next corner and then zoom out and just go ahead and follow my interior walls so that I can simply make my perfect rectangle. And I'm staying on those interior walls. As you can see, I have a dashed red line here that lets me know this is the end, so that I am straight to that original start of the line. And then come over to the end point. In doing that, using this orbit, I now have created a face, right? Because I have the 4 edges. 3 or more edges make a face. And if I use my select tool, which is that arrow, and I click on it, I have a face. And it will, as you can see, be distorted. I want this face to become a group. But before doing that, I'm going to go ahead and delete out the face. But first, let's use our offset, or type the letter F, and offset our walls so that we have our interior and exterior walls accounted for. So type it in F and using offset, I'm going to left click and pull my mouse to the outside, and I'm going to give it a measurement of 6 inches. So now I have the 2 faces, 1 and 2. We're going to call this our interior and our exterior wall line, right? So in clicking in the center, I'm going to delete that group face in a moment, but I want to make sure that I make everything a group. So if I delete the interior space and then I click in between where I have those exterior, that line, that wall thickness, I can go ahead and do a right click and say make a group, because now my walls are grouped together. So I have a group 1 for the base of my drawing, and then I have group 2 for my interior exterior wall thickness. Or mainly this is going to be the exterior shell. We're going to create our individual interior walls. Now we're going to go through our drawing and account for where we have the areas for all of our windows and even our door here on our model. Guys, go ahead and slide this over using that pan tool and just zoom back in. I just want to show this door here. We're going to draw in the lines for each of these areas. To do that, we must be sure that we are clicked on the group, because we want our lines to be attached to that group of those exterior walls, that shell of the space. So in triple clicking inside of your walls here, we can take our pencil tool or type in L for line and begin to outline all of the markings where we have our windows accounted for throughout the entire drawing. And then you will come over to also where your door is and go ahead and draft in the lines that represent the outline of the doors. Once that is completed, now you can click out of your group and all of your windows, your door is attached to the group of the exterior shell. Now you are ready to begin to create your 3D image by using the push-pull tool to pull up your walls. In order to pull these walls up, you can use your push-pull icon or type in P for your shortcut. And if you hover over your walls, you'll go ahead and pull them up. But notice in me doing this, I have a stop sign, which is that circle with the line through it, because I need to be sure that I'm clicked on the group. So using your select or your arrow, I can once again triple click on that group, go to my push-pull or type in P, and now begin to draft up my walls. The height of our walls are going to be, let's do a standard 8 feet. And of course, I'm going to use that orbit tool and use the wheel of my mouse to kind of zoom in and out to begin to work myself around my drawing. Now I am still inside of the group. I can pull it up by typing in 8 feet again, or as I hover over each area, I can just pull my mouse to the last height of the wall, to the height of the last wall here, and it'll just snap into place. Notice that for your areas where we have our windows, we have our lines in here. That is separating out each spot where we're going to draft our windows. We're going to go through and remove our lines later, but it is good that it is there so that we know where each window or even door opening or each opening is located. Sometimes you do have to zoom into your drawing to get that space to populate so that you can pull it up. If you want to do more than one area at a time, you can select and then hold down your shift key to pick another area, and that way you are grabbing two things at once. But just take the time to go through your entire drawing, pull all of your walls up to the 8 feet, and then once you have them there, you can come out of the group, and then you will see that all of your walls are grouped together. Let's do this last one here. Using my arrow to just click out, now I have all of my exterior walls pulled up. If I go ahead and triple click inside and grab all of the group together, I'm going to right click. Let's do that again. Right click, and we're going to go to our reverse faces so that we have a nice clean solid look here. And everything is one unit. From here, we can go through and begin to put in our cutouts or our openings for where we have our doors opening and our window placements. For our bedroom over here, that bottom left corner bedroom, I'm going to make sure that I'm once again clicked on the group, because we want our openings, if they're a part of the group or within the group, we want to make sure that we're selected in that space. So you can click or, do a double, triple click so that you are a part of this group and everything else around is distorted. I'm going to take my pencil or type in L for line here, and I'm going to draft at the end point of this first line and draw the line up to give this window seal a height of 2 feet 6 inches. And then once I have that drawn, it will give me a new endpoint, and I'm going to draft straight across and then draft up again and give the window itself a height of 4 feet 2 inches. And just simply press enter. Now I can go and find where that endpoint is and then draft a line straight across. So now I have the opening for this window, and I can just repeat that around to the opposite side. Now again, you can use your line, or you could have used the tape measure to draft a line at the bottom and then pull it up, but I'll show it this way. I want to give my kitchen window a different seal height. I want that seal height to be 3 feet 6 inches by pressing enter. And now, as you can see, I have like a little marker here. I can now take my line and draft it straight across using and making sure that I am on the green axis, and then now measure up a height of this window. Let's make it 2 feet 6 inches. And then find where that endpoint is and come across. Going through the drawing, let's kind of use our orbit tool and just repeat this all the way around. So we're going to make our windows the same here for this area was the dining room, and I can use my guideline here to just say, all right, this is where. And I can go back through and delete this line if I like, or I can just at least use it to bring me to the edge and then draft my line straight across. And then do the same, kind of, use it as a guideline and click on the edge and draft it across. To check my measurement here, I can use my tape measure and just go from end to end. And is that the height of the windows from the bedroom, 4 feet 2 inches? Yes. I can use that erase tool to just erase off these extra lines. And I had a space between the windows there. Then I can zoom in and get rid of that little end piece. And now that's just me doing this a little quicker and working my drawing here. For my door, we're going to say our door has a height of 60 inches. So going to the end point, I'm going to draft my line, or I can use, again, my tape measure and just say I have a height of 60 inches. So type in 60. Remember to press 60 and then enter, because the default of the program is in inches. So find where that endpoint is. Oh, maybe I was zoomed out too far to find my marker here. That's okay. I'm going to draft my line and type in 60. There we go. It was way down there. And then, of course, make sure it is a straight line and is on that red axis. And it will populate on your screen once you're heading in the right direction. And remember, if you overdraft, just use your eraser to get rid of the rest of that line. Oh, we took too much of the line off. Just to be sure. There we go. Zoom in. Now what it looks like is that this line is not drafted on my face here. It was kind of distorted there. So I'm just going to redraft it just to be sure that it is on the face of this group. Let's do a little bit of undo here. And that's okay. I'm going to go here, do my endpoint, put in my 60 inches there, and then do the same with finding my endpoint and drafting across. And then use that erase. There we go. This original line here was not on the correct axis, so that's why I wasn't connecting. Now you might run into issues like this. So it's good that you were able to see it as an example. Making sure that we draft on the correct axes. Now I'm doing everything from the inside right now. Again, I'm going to go through and make myself here another outline. These were bedroom windows. So again, I'm going to do that same measurement for the seal. 2 feet, 6 inches. Zoom into my drawing. And it's okay. Remember to, if you need to overdraft, it's fine. And my height is 4 feet, 6 inches. Find that endpoint. There it is. And draft across. I have another window here in that bedroom. And then from here I have a bathroom. And I now have next to that 2 more lines that are going to represent the living room. If, for instance, you say, oh no, I don't remember what my drawing looks like. It's okay. You can come out of the group so that you can take a look and say, okay, yes, that was the bedroom, that was the bathroom, and these 2 here are going to be my living room. Once you've, taken a look at it, you can get back inside of your group, of course, with a double click or a triple click there and finish your drafting. So you know that your 2 bedroom windows are going to be at the same height. Remember, you don't have to measure. You can just create yourself those guidelines here. Make the program work for you. And then we have our line for our bathroom. Let's change the height of our bathroom window to the same as our kitchen. We're going to have it, that seal being 3 feet, 6 inches from the floor. Zoom in. Find your endpoint. And then the height is going to be 2 feet, 6 inches. So it's just the opposite. Draft that line up again. Type in, make sure I'm on the correct axes there. 2 feet, 6 inches. Find my endpoint. And of course, erase any overdrawn lines. Go ahead and P for pen and finish my last two windows here that are going to be in my living room area. And again, remember, I'm just kind of using this as a guide, not left clicking, just letting it follow with the red dashed line here. So let me know I'm on the correct axis. When I make it to that edge, I can now draft. And then use that erase to go through and erase off the lines we don't need. I'm going to redo that last one there and just zoom in. Once again, it must not be on the actual face, so go through and just correct it, and it's okay. The beauty of having these guides and our color to help us work through our drawings is a plus. So now we have our openings outlined and somewhat accounted for. Now it's time to use our push-pull to go ahead and remove and create the actual opening. So in taking a look at these two windows on this side, I'm inside of my group once again. I can use the push-pull to kind of push this out, and if I hover to the end point of the other side, I now can get it to the back and select the inside of the face and just remove it. Now you want to make sure that you're on this group because we need certain things like the solid image or the solid face on the inside of our space so that we can create our seals and ledges. So using that push-pull, you can just push it out to the end, go through and delete the faces. Now if we were to delete the face, now we still have this going on and we don't have a solid face on the inside. So this is why I recommend using that push-pull to go through and push out the space that you don't need. And moving your drawing around using your orbit tool, you're just going to go through and continue to push out all of your openings. If you have to, go through and also delete your faces. If you want to delete more than one face, of course you can use your shift key by pressing and holding it down. You can also go through and be sure to remove any of the double lines. Another thing that you will want to do is now go through at the very end and also remove these extra guides that you don't need. So now you have just your solid openings on the wall and no extra line work that is separating anything. Then you want to go through the top and also delete the outlines at the very top. At this time, don't go through and, excuse me, let's undo, erase or remove the middle line here. for your windows, because we want to make sure that we understand what type of window this is. Is it a window where you have two sides? It's like a slider window possibly. Or is it one piece? So we're going to determine that in the design. That we have our exterior walls created, we can begin to create a group for our interior space and our interior walls. At this time, I'm going to use the L or use the pencil icon to go ahead and divide a line in my space. And I'm going to pick a side here. So I'm going to create these two sides by drafting the line straight across. And if I click on one side, I have a face here and then a face on the opposite side. I'm going to start here on the side where I have a lot of my bedroom and living room and bathroom. So in clicking on that, I'm going to right click to say make a group. Now that I have this group created, I can use my line tool or even use my rectangle tool to begin to draft in my interior walls. So if I use this rectangle tool, I can make sure that I am on the group. I know I'm on the group because it is blue. Zoom out so you can see that. And begin to zoom in and draft over my outline. So I'm using that rectangle tool, and I can snap on endpoints and just use that to outline my walls here, or the spacing for my walls. So we have something like this here, and then usually this would just snap into place. We can go through later and then do the cutouts for our door spaces. Remind you, we want to make sure you're on the face of the group. I'm going to take my line tool to just do the spots for my door. So I have a line here for that opening, and then a line here. It'll just snap into place. And then I have one here too. Make sure I get it in the right spot, so go ahead and zoom in. Here we go. And we have, let's say, this area. You can go through, of course, and erase any of those run over lines. There. And when you have things created, because I want to push pull things, so I'm going to want these lines to move as one. So I'm going to delete some of those edge lines there so my walls can look continuous. Using that select tool, I want to get back inside of this group by selecting the group. And I have faces created. But now if I go ahead and click in the inside of my interior walls, I can hold down the shift key and choose to click the remaining interior walls, and they're all distorted together, and now I can right click and say, hey, let's make this a group. So now I have a group for my interior walls here. While I'm in this group, I can go ahead and use that push pull and go ahead and bring them up. But you need to use your arrow, double click or triple click inside so that you now are inside of your interior walls, and use your push pull and pull your walls up to the 8 feet. I'm going to skip my openings for a second here, and then go through and pull these openings up. So now we have our interior walls pulled up, at least on one side, and they are all one group. Clicking on your interior walls, I'm going to go ahead and create the lines for my door openings. So using that orbit tool here, I'm going to orbit my drawing, and our doors are going to measure the same height at that 60 inches. So drafting a line up 60 inches, and then going ahead and creating my line across for the bedroom and the bathroom. Then of course we can use our push-pull to push things out. But before using the push-pull, I want to just show another method when we are adding our trim to our doors here. Now that I have my door space accounted for, let me go through and just erase off the top. Then I can go and use my rectangle tool, or actually let's type in F for our offset, and I'm going to click and offset the door to the outside 2 inches to give it a 2-inch trim on both doors. Just constantly keeps moving there. There we go. Now that I have that trim created, I can go and use that push-pull to hover over the face here and create my opening. Push it to the back of the first interior wall edge, and I can have and see those openings. Using the select tool to click off, I have my door with the trim for my interior space. I always recommend reversing our edges. So if I went ahead and clicked on that group again, triple clicked on it, and I right click to go and reverse my faces, now I have that clean, consistent look throughout my drawing here. And I have those interior doors. Remember, when you click on the faces or the actual group, you can go through and use that erase tool to even erase those lines on the inside as well. But keeping in mind not to erase too much. So this is something that you would repeat for the remainder of your drawing. At least I have one side of my interior walls grouped together. Maybe you want to group the other bedroom walls together, or if you have broken down your space for your interior walls, whether it's left or right or top and bottom, and section them off so that you can work your drawing in sections. Remember, grouping things helps keep our drawings organized. In the next lecture here, we're going to go more into creating our doors and windows, and also beginning to add furniture to our spaces.